Hello and welcome to the 81st episode of the RedMancunian.com Manchester United podcast.
81st? Isn't it our 25th, Sam?
Oh, don't get cross.
See what you've done. Sam, what are we going to be talking about this week?
This week, let's talk about the Fulham at home game, the singing section, and that lovely trip down to Arsenal away.
Welcome, everyone. It's episode 25. We're back in the studio in Manchester, and you've already heard from Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hiya.
Enthusiastic. Mark's here again this week.
Hello.
And Jay.
How we doing?
Right, lads. Lots to talk about this week.
So much. So much. Where to start?
2 points from a possible 6. Let's start with Fulham at Old Trafford. That was last Sunday. Where do we start with that, lads?
It's great to be back on the podcast after another great result as well. It's just, here we go again. The trait continues.
But you're never on when we win, are you? You've never been on.
I'm not. I think there's something going on. It's just because we don't win a lot. That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
So
you missed out, actually, Jay, because we went for curry beforehand.
We did. Oh, it was nice.
In our now traditional pre-match curry place. And that was the highlight of the day.
That's been a highlight of most of my match to go and experiences this season, if I'm honest. The pre-match curry.
It was nice, though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Cobra
It was a
beer.
cracking curry this week. It was better than usual.
Nice.
Should we just talk about that for a bit? The curry.
These two, I tell you what, they do it all wrong. They have a kebab and then they have rice and chips and they fold it into a naan. It's not a curry to me.
No. Because they don't
crazy,
do kebabs.
Crazy, I tell
so
you.
basically, we had to do a selection of starters to make up a kebab. So we got like the meat.
Or you're in a curry house, don't have a kebab. But you know that apparently is not.
Was that guy with a mullet there who serves?
Yeah. He's the owner.
He's awesome.
He actually owns it. We always go in with the first day. He's like, "Oh, you're here again." Jug of Cobra.
You know what?
He knows just to see his head.
He just nods now, knowing the Cobra on.
I went across to pay and he went, "Gotta get Moyes out, haven't we?"
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Wow.
Brilliant.
I was like, "Oh."
To which
That was
naturally
before
you
the
said,
Fulham game.
"No, we haven't."
Yeah. So naturally, I was like, instantly got into top red mode. Like,
Yeah.
no, we give our managers time.
Remember what
at United.
Fergie said?
We never sack our managers. Sacked 4 of the last 5. Yeah.
So where do we start with Fulham? We started quite well.
It was the same old story, though, wasn't it? It was like creating half chances and sort of knocking on the door, but not creating clear-cut chances. It was like,
Just before we get into it, though,
of course you
can I bring up the formation again?
Yep.
After all the abuse that he got from all quarters after Stoke, to start 4-4-2 again and not play Januzaj, and at the time we're all thinking, oh, it's all right, he's resting Januzaj for Arsenal. Yeah, that worked out.
Yeah.
To go 4-4-2 again.
This is the thing. People have had this argument on Twitter. It's not 4-4-2. It's 4-2-3-1. It's not.
It's not.
It's 4-4-2. You look at the pitch and you see where the players are, and you see Juan Mata getting screamed at off the touchline.
Yeah. And Moyes does. He screams.
You see Ashley Young, wherever on the other wing, hugging the touchline. It's 4-4-2.
Yeah.
Rooney's Rooney and Van Persie. I know they like to drop deep, but they're the sort of leading the line. They're the two strikers, and it was. I think it's that old thing again of it's only Fulham. But how many times of this season we said, it's only West Brom, it's only Everton, it's only Newcastle, and we don't get away with it anymore.
I mean, we're here for Moyes later, but in his most recent...
What?
He's not coming in the studio.
I was about to say.
Welcome back from Dubai.
Yeah, fuck off, Dave.
Stop being mean to David.
But
he's picking on him all the time.
He keeps saying that it's down to luck. And we reviewed the Fulham game, 81 crosses.
It's not down to luck, it's because we're crap.
Well, as my boss always says to me, praise in public, bollock in private.
Yeah.
An option he often takes, funnily enough.
I've never seen him praise you.
No, well, yeah. The latter part he does, anyway. So I'm just wondering whether there's an element of that, whether Moyes, behind closed doors, is reading a few plays the right act, but in public is saying, we're just not getting the rub of the green.
Well, he said that, but he also questioned the players' mentality.
And heart, was it heart
yeah,
as well?
and their heart. Now,
he's got a point.
No, he hasn't, because
they are letting their heads down.
Moyes has won nothing.
I'm not saying it's down to Moyes. I'm not suggesting
we beat
that.
Wigan in the Charity Shield.
I think the fans of Preston would have something to say.
I'm saying, is David Moyes' tactics the reason we're conceding late goals? I don't think it is. I think it's because they're letting their heads down and they're not concentrating.
Yeah, but they're letting their heads down because he's not motivating them, and that's his job, right? So to come out and question them when he's won fuck all and they're champions is unbelievable, right? And if you alienate the dressing room, there's no way back from that. There is no way back because...
Of course there is. He's
If
going
you
to ship them all out. He doesn't need it. He never had the
you
dressing room
can't
to
ship
start with,
out-
so he can't lose
You
it.
can't
he can't
ship
lose
out
it. He never had it.
25 millionaires.
The worrying
It won't
thing here
happen.
is, like Mark just said, then he's going to ship them all out. Beginning of the season, we needed 3-4 players. Mid-season, we needed 5-6. Now all of a sudden, it's getting to the point where it's like we need a new entire team.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, so-and-so's got to go. Another player's got, he's got to go. He's got to go. And it just seems to get to the point where what worries me is, where do you draw the line when you say, hang on, rather than getting an entire new team, should we just get a new manager?
Yeah.
Because it does seem that we're getting to that point where everyone's saying the same thing. We've got to have a massive clear out. We've got to get rid of these players. We've got to get rid of that player. And each week we seem to be adding to the number of players that aren't performing, that aren't good enough, that need to go. And I'm not quite buying it, to be honest with you.
But you're right there, Jay. I mean, you look to the summer, the players that will be leaving Manchester United or can potentially leave. There's like 7 or 8.
Nemanja.
You know, you've got Vidic, Rio, Evra. I mean, Giggs will be gone. Nani will probably go to Italy.
Van Persie.
Is he happy? Is Van Persie happy?
No,
Well, clearly not.
at all. He doesn't look happy, and the rumours, I know you shouldn't believe rumours, but there are a lot of them.
There's too many rumours
There
for
is,
it not to be true, yeah.
You know, where there's smoke, there's fire or whatever, and it does seem that he isn't happy, and he doesn't play like he's happy of late.
He's not happy in training as well, is he?
But this is what
with the lack
this
of
is what the
striking.
I mean, you think he'd be over the moon to be getting coached by the likes of Jimmy Lumsden and Steve Brown, because they can say, no, Robin, that's not how you do that. This is how you do it. Watch and learn. So why he's upset about that, I've no idea. But this is what everyone's saying, that he's not happy with the training, that his training was tailored to him and now it isn't. Again, with this sort of stuff, I'm always inclined to give Moyes the benefit of the doubt, because you don't know for a fact what goes on at Carrington. But there is a lot of these rumours, and from what you see on the pitch, it doesn't look like a happy camp. And
So
against Fulham, you could see that it's not a happy team.
Let's look at facts then. If we're going to do a Rafa Benitez style.
Okay.
Facts.
Get your piece of paper out.
Yeah. 46 crosses in the first half.
Wow.
Superb.
Right. 8 of them, I think, found a red shirt.
And we went. It was 1-0 at half time, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, there's very little you can do with a player the quality of Steve Sidwell ghosts into your box. All right, you just
Really
sometimes
tracked him.
You've got to
It's like,
just,
do you remember what I said to you at half time? Is that Kieran Richardson playing for them? Because I've just seen Kieran Richardson run like 70 yards or something with the ball. And I remember him at Old Trafford, and he was dog poo.
Wank, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was terrible, and he thought he was mental, which made it worse. And it's almost funny if it wasn't so tragic.
Yeah. So, you're Moyes. You've got to half time. You're 1-0 down. Team's playing very poorly, but you've put 46 crosses in. The tallest man in the world is the centre back for Fulham. Like, he's literally, touching clouds with his head. But no, that doesn't deter you. What you do is you come out the second half and you say, "This is spot on. This. What we'll do is put another 35 crosses in, because the first 46 were only just warming us up." Awesome tactics.
So how many out of the 81 were actually successful crosses?
18,
I believe.
18.
Well,
No,
none of
wow.
them were successful.
Yeah.
Did we score from any of them?
No. Raphael was awful at crossing.
I mean, I'm seeing Juan Mata getting balls pinged over to him and trying to head them, and I'm thinking,
He's 4
what are we
foot
doing
2.
with him? Yeah, exactly. He's tiny, and that's not why we've got him. Why don't we try playing it to his feet? It just seems.
And
It
not
seems
on
to
the
me.
wing.
Everyone seems to realise this isn't working. Everyone was saying the same thing, and I just don't understand why Moyes or the coaching staff are saying, right, let's get it on the floor. Let's try and play through the middle a bit more. Let's do something different.
Well,
because
like
it was
Sam
just
was
literally
saying,
more of the same consistently through the
the
game.
tactics didn't change from Stoke to Fulham to Arsenal.
No.
They were pretty much 4-4-2.
It's ridiculous.
Formation-wise, I think tactically it was different against Arsenal. He wasn't a...
Well, we'll come on to that.
ball
We'll come on
into
to
the
that in a
box
bit.
kind
But
of
that game
vibe.
was basically just two teams that were petrified to concede.
That was the point
for-
I was
for
going to
90
make.
minutes.
Is that fair play. We were throwing a lot of crosses in Stoke and Fulham, but last night it wasn't quite a lot of crosses into the box. But everything we did that seemed a bit threatening was kind of playing through the middle on the floor, and we didn't look great. Well,
I think the thing is with Fulham, if we'd have got it on the floor and gone through the middle, rather than hoofing it into the box where they've got Lurch, whatever he is called, stood in the middle, just heading everything away with a big grin on his face, thinking this is mint.
Who was the defender next to him? The quote would come from, was it Dan?
He said it was like the conference, playing in the conference.
He's never headed the ball as many
most
times.
of his career.
I love Meilenstein coming out as well, going,
we knew what
those tactics are easy to defend against.
I know, he loved that, didn't he? You could
Point
say
being,
so.
nice one, Rennie.
His tactic was to push him out wide and stop him playing in the middle because he had three defenders sat centrally.
But Moyes also came out as well, didn't he, and said that Moyes did not offer him the job. And when Moyes said at the start of the season that he offered Rene the job. So
I saw a quote from Meilenstein a few months ago where he sort of said when Moyes arrived, he told him, "You've been looking after a barge and now you've got a yacht or something," and tried to sort of tell him the way he should be doing things. So I don't know if he sort of rubbed him up the wrong way and he didn't think they could work together. I don't know. But I wouldn't have had a problem with Moyes bringing in his own backroom staff if we were playing okay, but it's just the fact that the football's dire and everyone seems unhappy and the results aren't there.
It's not even attractive football to watch. I mean, we were all there. We were all in the singing section on Sunday against Fulham. But there was times that you were just like, God, this is boring.
It's nothing new, though. We've been playing pretty depressing, boring football for the past 3 years. Since Ronaldo left, we have.
Stop.
Are you on your Ferguson tirade again?
Beyond that, it has been bad lately.
There's bad and there's this.
This is the worst I've seen for a while.
It's a constant, steady stream of downward crap.
No, not having it.
Yeah, I kind of disagree.
There were moments last season.
Moments.
But we're not even getting the moments. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's worse.
There was games last season.
Think of the ball that Rooney played. That Van Persie finished against Villa, that volley. And so the ball never touched the ground from where was Rooney? Just inside the own half.
But look at that last night against Arsenal with the Van Persie header. That was a cracking piece of play.
Will you stop reviewing Arsenal? We'll get on to that.
No, I'm just saying you can't say that there's no moment. That was a moment. If that had gone in, we'd have rejoiced and suggested it was the best thing that we'd done all year, which it would have been. It actually probably was.
What?
The Van Persie header, the whole sequence of play. It was beautiful.
If you're looking at best moments this season for Van Persie, it's got to be his goal at Old Trafford against Arsenal.
Yeah, I'm not saying it was Van Persie's best moment. It was the best passage of play I've seen us play all year.
What?
Last night.
The passage plays down,
one
Carrick tackles to Rooney, and then he dinks it forward. That's our best bit of play of the 2013-14.
I think that probably says more about our season than it does about that particular passage of play.
Exactly.
If I'm honest. But going on to the singing section.
Just before we get there, yet another game where we ended up with Rooney in midfield and Tony V at right back. Arguably, Tony V's fault. This
is a trait that's been this season. He's cost us a few goals. Tony V. Yeah. City. The first goal.
But then we're asking him to do something that he's not comfortable doing. Clearly, if you put him in right back and he makes a mistake, you go, all right, he had a slip up, do better next time. If he does it again, you start thinking, maybe you're not cut out for this. So to do it again.
Yeah, he's done it a few, like I said.
Are you blaming Valencia there, or are you blaming Moyes for putting him there?
I'm blaming Moyes for putting him there, but I understand why he did it to an extent, because when he came on, we were 1-0 down, weren't we?
Yeah, I think so.
So you're looking to get back in the game. But, when we're 2-1 up, there was no, it looked like we were trying to kill the game in old-style Everton way.
Yeah.
Kind of just ground it out. United don't do that.
And Van Persie had the chance to make it 3, didn't he? And tried that little dink rather than putting his foot through it.
It was just like Sunderland in the cup all over again. Holding on against Dross.
Yeah.
And then succumbing.
I mean, it's Fulham. They're bottom of the league. They lost to Sheffield United 4 days earlier.
A reserve Sheffield United team.
and I think, was it 4 losses on the bounce, whatever, in the league? Merlinstein said we've hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
You can't have picked a better time to play them, really.
They nearly beat Liverpool last night, though.
Sorry?
They nearly beat Liverpool last night.
Well, but Liverpool won that game.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying nearly,
But going into the game in Old Trafford, they were in a horrendous run of form.
Yeah. And, I mean, looking at the betting odds and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, and the fact is, against Fulham, when you when we were 2-1 up, like you were saying, we should have really gone on then and got another one. That's what we'd have done in the past, and it's just I think there's the nervousness about it all as well. As soon as that was like that 50-50 where Carrick sort of got took out, there was an inevitability about it. You could almost sense everyone thought, shit.
Well,
Yeah.
it was
This
it
is
was
it.
like a comedy of errors.
Yeah,
that goal,
you
wasn't
know,
it?
you just I thought they're going to score it.
Mm.
And you know, and it's not because I'm Nostradamus. I think everyone thought that. It's just you can sort of sense it. It was 4 against 4, I think.
It seemed like an age as well before it got onto Bent's head, didn't it?
Yeah.
Sitting as Dave saved
That,
it was
the
like,
ball loops off
Yeah,
when he
it was
parried
like,
it, and it was just like you
no.
can see Bent just waiting there. You thought
yeah.
there's absolutely no way he's not going to score this goal.
Well, let's hear what David Moyes had to say about the Fulham game.
Well, David, can you believe you've not won that?
No, we should have won it, but a couple of lapses, cost us a little bit. But we completely we were never. I think we had to defend probably 3-4 times in the whole game. But that happens sometimes in football.
The stats are so heavily weighed in your favour. Have you ever been involved in a game quite like that?
No, because I think we went out. We'd run everything to try and win. We crossed it, passed it, tried to get through. But we just didn't quite have the finishing touches, and I think if we'd got a goal early on, then it would have completely altered the game. As it was, the more we went to score, they had a couple of chances, and one of them they scored from, but I hardly felt as if they were up the park at all today.
Does it become a game like that, a difficult afternoon, the minute you don't get that first goal, the minute they go in front?
Yeah, because it didn't deserve to, and we had deserved to be in front, but we didn't take our chances when we got them. And I think it's been like us quite often here at Old Trafford, when we've not got the goal, we've maybe lost the goal and we've ended up chasing the game. We did it today. But, if we hadn't got back in the game, then there'd have been something up, because we totally deserved it. And, we deserved to win the game, we deserved the 3 points, but you don't always get what you deserve.
In an attacking sense, did you think it was a good Manchester United performance?
I thought some of it. I was disappointed that we didn't make more of the opportunities and the chances we did make, and I did think that we could have taken a bit more care with some of our crosses and some of our deliveries in the box. But overall, we kept knocking at the door, and we got a couple, but it wasn't enough.
9 points to Liverpool now. Can you still catch them?
We'll do our best.
Thank you, David.
We'll do our best.
We'll do our best.
To catch Liverpool. That's what it's come to.
Well, to be fair, I think we're getting to the point now with Moyes. He's damned no matter what he says. Some fans want him to say the players like our other fans say if he says that he's taking the mick. I mean, I think it's because of the results and the way we are. Like the whole sort of piece that was in the Guardian about his press conference, how prickly he's getting, and how
He was very short, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was very short. He is, and you can see sort of a little bit of the pressure's obviously getting to him. And I think some fans want him to go and give it full barrels and say, we aren't good enough. This isn't good enough. And then other fans want him to say, everything, we are going to catch him. But if he says, we are going to make up a number of points, people just think, well, you're deluded because we're not. We're terrible. They're flying, and they're getting the look they need, the rub of the green. So you need a bit of realism. So I think he's stuck in, caught between a rock and a hard place, really. And and it sounds bad, but I've sort of lost interest in what he's saying in press conferences because he's just getting beyond the joke half the time.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
many of the fans...
Mumble, we're unlucky. Mumble, we'll try harder. Mumble,
They tell me,
mumble.
that's another favourite saying, isn't it? They tell me,
Yeah.
I know you don't want to go into Arsenal, but the last one is, in the second half of the season, United have always done well. But United haven't been getting beat off the likes of Swansea, West Brom, Everton and Newcastle during the season usually. So, like I said, he's sort of damned no matter what he does.
Yeah.
I'm still
So
not,
there was
I'm
many
not a
people
believer in the
after...
importance of it all. All
No,
this
yeah.
press conference stuff. I know you're a media man yourself, Jay, but I just don't see the point of it. It makes no sense. Who cares what he comes out and says? Really, what does it matter? He's
It
just
sets the
coming out
tone
and
for
saying
the
something.
players. I think that's the...
I think
What Jay said before is, whatever he said, something in private, something in public. That's what it's like. What he says out there to the media is a public front, and it is totally different to what's going on in a dressing room.
Well, that public
I will
front
say
is not
that some-
building the fans
some of
or
it, though,
players with confidence.
some
really.
of it has been comedy gold. The Vidic one was my favourite recently. It was a mutual decision. He came to see me and said he's leaving. Right, okay.
And his agent said ages ago he's
So I
going
said, all
anyway.
right, see you later. I've had many mutual decisions in my relationships when we broke up. She told me she didn't want to see me anymore. It was a mutual decision.
Yeah.
I agreed as I was crying. So yeah, there is a comedy element. We've got to laugh at something, haven't we?
Oh,
Stop
have
crying,
to.
Jay. Sorry, you need a cuddle. Do you want a hug?
I always want to hug off you.
So as we were saying, we were all out on Sunday, and we were all in the singing section, which is most of our seats are anyway in J Stand. But the singing section, Mark and Sam, you came down to J Stand. What did you think of the section, and did it improve the atmosphere at Old Trafford?
I I think it probably did. I don't think it wasn't really a rip-roaring success, was it? But I think it would have been dead on its arse
compared
if
to the first one.
section.
It was nothing like
yeah,
it.
it's definitely not as good as the first one. And there are a number of factors for that.
There was a lot of political.
Go on, Sam.
Well, it's even down to simple things like the first one was a night game, so people have been out for longer. The atmosphere is just generally better at night games. It was a smaller section of people the first time, so I think from my perspective, the increased numbers this time led to kind of different groups within the section singing different songs at different tempos, and it just clashed a bit.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Some of the singing at the back of J&K, it was like a different tempo to what it was at the front, where Pete Boyle and that was trying to get songs going, but then trying to get songs going, different songs, when everyone else is still singing that.
I thought, the first time we arguably went through quite a lot of what I would deem like United classic songs. Talking about players that weren't there anymore, good times, that kind of stuff. That never really got to that.
The first run of 5
on
as
Sunday.
well. It was in November, wasn't it?
Yeah. This Sunday there was a lot of 20 times and We'll Never Die and Kicking a Blue. I hate that song.
I hate that song.
It was like that on repeat rather than singing about Keno, Nicky Butt and stuff like this, like it was in the first one.
Yeah, and the last thing I just want to say is obviously when you move everybody into the away section, then everybody has specifically opted in to be there.
Yeah.
Because there's no one that sits there normally. Now, I think you can attest, Jay, can't you? There was sort of a bit of a clash.
There was a clash. I mean, there was a clash next to me after you two tried standing next to me. Some bloke turned up, started moaning at you, and said bloke was, he's had a few obviously, and he was sort of singing and shouting a lot. And then he decided to turn and start having a go at the people that weren't singing, who then one of them started having a go back, so you had a bit of a handbags, shall we say.
Yeah,
and people
I saw the same thing like from my seat across the way, and it was just a little bit, obviously when you're watching that dreadful performance on the field, people aren't in the best of moods anyway, but it was nothing like that in the first game. There was no infighting. It was just a bit novel.
Do you think the people that didn't move from J Stand were the ones that weren't singing and they just stayed to be fussy?
It's not to be fussy though, is it?
This is what I was just going to say.
Yeah, it's not for me to say. I know I wouldn't be happy if someone turfed me out of my seat. So I'm not going to stand here and say that those guys have no right to opt back in to have their own seat, especially as you think when you took that season ticket out at the start of the season, no one told you were going to be like, it wasn't an 18-game season ticket and one game you'll be in the back of South Stand. It was your
God, imagine the
games.
atmosphere over there on Sunday. It would have been awful, wouldn't it?
But it was 19 games and you sit in that seat, and that area of the ground, J&K, you've got a lot of people there that moved down from the Stretty together and have been like sitting there for a long time.
Yeah.
So I think while the idea still has some merit, it's, in my mind, I think you have to either find a section of the ground where the fans in it are more amenable to moving, so less long-term season ticket holders, or find a way to make the away section work, and I really don't know if that's even feasible.
It was also a bit of a funny game to pick. Fulham, the game was dire. I mean, if you go back to the Arsenal game where there wasn't a singing section in J, I was in J.
J&K
the
was rocking, wasn't it?
was absolutely rocking.
Yeah.
Because it was a massive game.
What's the point in trialling it in a big game, though?
Yeah.
We know the atmosphere would have been
I
dead
suppose
for Fulham,
so, yeah.
and there was a bit of atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing from my vantage point down towards the front of J, there was a lot of, I'd say, new Manchester United fans, so 16, 17, 18-year-olds that, have been out on the pub all afternoon. Yeah, good, but they weren't singing. It was almost like they were there in the singing section because it was, the in thing to be with United fans, top red.
Right.
Oh, I'm in the singing section, let me tweet about it. Whether it comes down to that or that. I mean, on social media, Manchester United have now sent out an email, haven't they?
Yeah.
For a survey, and obviously those responses are getting relayed.
What's the email? The survey?
That is sent what I actually wrote
Your,
in my comments section.
Your reaction
in my reply to the email.
To the
That
singing
it
section
should be less.
They've sent that out to
There's
everyone.
there's two conversations going.
Sorry.
Go on,
Matt.
Sam, you go.
Yeah, it's just an email to like your feedback on the singing section.
Just the people that were there.
I've no idea if it.
Yeah,
if
just the
it's
people that their
limited
membership
to-
numbers went through.
Right.
So it's been sent to them asking, how the atmosphere compared to other games such as Sunderland, Swansea, this, that, the other. Your feedback, you've got form to fill in.
I just don't think you can do it half and half. I think you either say to the people, you're going to have it in a stand, tough. I mean, I'm sitting J stand and I don't want that to happen. But you either do it that way and say, this is a singing section now, and it's going to be a singing section, or you don't do it. Because you can't have it half and half. Because like Sam was saying, I know a lot of people there that are old timers. At half time, I always meet up with them.
Yeah,
They've been there for years. Some of them sing, some of them don't. That's fair enough. Do you know what I mean? They've been supporting United for sort of 60 odd years, whatever. And people are having a go at them. These are pensioners, and you've got youngsters shouting at them.
That's something I was actually going to say.
You better start singing. What you're wasting a seat for, and all that. And they don't deserve that.
They paid the money.
Exactly.
Well, the thing is, even if you say it's black and white, right? Okay, this is now a singing section. You'll get those people opting back into it to get their seat back, and the same thing will happen as happened in Fulham.
Yeah,
they'll get it back, but they'll get it back because they want their seat, and they'll get people around them to do that rather than because they want to sing. So the idea is kind of doomed to failure.
I think
there's
a few people that won't do it because there's something I wanted to say about an old woman I seen giving some of the stewards a right what for after we scored a second goal because she was soaked from head to toe. It looked like she'd been drowned in beer.
All right,
after the goonage from the second goal, everyone went a bit mad. She wasn't happy.
It was great actually there for Carrick's goal, wasn't it? It was good.
I just think that's going to put her off wanting to go back into her seat.
It was great. It was great for us as like late 20s, early 30s guys that have been out on the piss all day.
Or early 20s in my case.
Plus a decade. But I can understand how it's not ideal for...
Do you know what? With hindsight, they should have just turfed the Fulham fans out of that away section and moved them to somewhere else and put us in
where
there
would you put them?
Anywhere. They were terrible anyway, so...
There was only a few.
Didn't make any noise.
But coming from J&K, this was a singing section. Did the noise travel round Old Trafford? I mean, we could only hear it because we were right next to it. But if you looked over your right to the north stand...
You'd have to ask people that weren't us, wouldn't you?
The first block of the north stand were getting a bit involved, but it didn't travel beyond the first block.
I mean, there's a lot of people on social media, again, saying in Stretty that they couldn't hear it.
Going back to something, sorry, can I just ask, I keep getting these tweets about a song sheet was handed out.
Yeah,
is this nonsense?
It was a false thing by Red D from Red Issue.
Oh, right. So
it was a very clever Photoshop.
Right, because someone tweeted me that and I was like, I didn't see that. I know you got a piece of paper.
Was it a copy of the letter they gave out in the first section?
It was a song sheet as regards to, most of you know that Andrew Kildoff, otherwise known as Tufty, and Pete Boyle were, the faces, so to speak, behind the singing section, which is, some people like them, many don't. But you have to think that, that they've tried to improve the atmosphere and, Yeah,
any attempt to improve the atmosphere in Old Trafford should be applauded and supported. But what more support can you give it than a couple of trials and get people's feedback? Now, like the success of it isn't going to be made or lost on the opinion of the four of us sat around this table now.
No,
that's why that survey thing's good because everyone will get to have their opinion, and we live in a democracy, so it's whatever they decide, really, isn't it?
I'll tell you what I put on that survey that because
please do.
Okay, I will. Because many fans are upset of who's behind the singing section. I put, if somebody put their face to it, like Gary Neville or Ian Brown, that they were going to introduce the singing section, it was their idea. If Gary Neville had said that rather than Tufty and Boyley being in the face of it.
If Tom Cleverley had tweeted it.
Oh, it'd have been a rip roll.
Oh, my God.
That would have really got everyone
poor
going.
Little Cleverley, and all the fans are getting on his back because he's fucking shit.
Has he pressed deactivate?
Oh. He needs to properly have a word with himself.
Well,
now got Ollie Holt on his payroll now, isn't he? Good God.
Well, the same thing happened to Darren Gibson, and he bounced back.
And look where his career has gone.
The old G-bomb.
Strength for strength.
I do miss him.
What a man. Schalke. That's all.
They don't exactly. Sending us into the Champions League final. How many players can say that?
So, have we got anything more to say about the singing section? Do you agree with that, by the way? If Gary Neville was the face of the singing section, every bugger would be behind it.
Not now.
No.
I think, now people would see it as a front. You get Gary Neville involved because people think it's crap.
Right.
That's what if it had been like that to start with, then perhaps
maybe get Phil Neville involved, give him something to do.
I'll tell you
Stop
what.
with the hand gestures.
Tell you what. I think a reasonable solution to this is
Yeah.
And I'm sure you'll have seen on Twitter that Rom's been advocating like a teenagers only section.
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, great
Now,
idea.
I do because it's very easy to police who goes into that. It's like, gives you date of birth, you can go in or you can't go in.
Yeah.
And you'll get a lot of people in there that are younger that will necessarily sing because that's what young people do at football.
That's what Arsenal have put in place, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's, being past that age now, I think it's good to try and
The future of our
encourage the
fans.
next generation with slightly cheaper tickets to be in a section where they know the atmosphere is going to be good because they can go in with their mates and they're all people around that age. I think that is probably the best way that you can actually improve the atmosphere, like without annoying the various stakeholder groups that singing sections
In theory,
seems to have.
I think it's a good
I
idea,
think
but
that's a
you've
great
got the
idea.
same problems of you've got to find a block and shift people.
I'm sure there's a batch of seats somewhere.
Well, I doubt there is, because that's where the singing section would have been put if there was a spot. And
It's-
you've
it'd
got
be a
to
great
find
idea
a
if that
block.
would work.
But
though.
what I'm saying is, if you find that section and you do Jay's, idea of, it's all or nothing. This section is now a teenage section.
Yeah.
Then people can't move back into it because they're too
Of course,
old.
they're not teenagers. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair
So
enough, but
I
I still think you end up with the same problem. Of people
maybe
being
you could
upset about it.
by the next season, say, when it's summer or whatever, a certain section, and if you're renewing, you can't in that section.
Yeah.
'cause
What
it's
section would you give to the teenagers?
I don't
E.
know.
I don't know. I've no idea.
Well,
I don't know, but going back to what Sam was saying, one of my fondest memories of United fan was when I started going as a youngster without my dad. When he, I started going with mates instead, and we all used to go in the paddock because we'd all get obviously £4 ticket, early 90s, sort of when we were just starting to get good, and we'd all sort of go in there. Everyone was singing, and it was it was great. You loved it, and it sort of made you a United fan as well for some youngsters. Whereas never going to a game or not getting tickets can some fans, 13, 14. It's not beyond the realms of possibility that you get disillusioned. And
Especially
give
with the
up.
prices nowadays.
the on-
We'll
the
go
only
on to the
point
Arsenal game, but
I want to come
£62 for an away ticket.
I remember interviewing you about that for the radio.
Yeah, yeah.
£62.
Are we sure there's enough teenagers that want it? And I know Scott does his stuff, and he tends to know what he's talking about. But is there how many? What we're talking? Maybe 1,000 seats. Is there 1,000 teenagers that want to come?
I'm sure there would
Right,
be.
of course,
Right.
yeah. But then you've got 3 years later, they're not teenagers anymore. They're not old enough. Have we got another 1,000 teenagers we can bring in?
Well, I think you have, because once you do it once and it's a bit of a success, then the kids that are in the family stand with their parents at the moment start to look forward to going into the the teenage section
Without their parents.
without the
Yeah.
parents, like with the mates.
But I thought
You know,
I thought what Scott was suggesting was it pushes fans out of that section into regular seats afterwards.
Yeah, we'll do. Yeah,
But going to need to expand if that's the case.
I don't think we will.
No, no.
because
This socioeconomic
Mark, after
problem you
this
were
season,
suggesting
there'll be a lot
before.
of people that won't be renewing.
They're
So
already
there will be.
talking. The people saying I'm not renewing next season.
yeah,
because
we've
it's rubbish.
we've had the email already
Yeah.
to renew.
To
That's
renew.
the earliest.
But
I
if
can
you renew
possibly
now,
remember.
you get entered into a competition to win a free
It
shirt.
was early last year, though.
I mean,
decent.
I'm considering renewing now anyway because it's just less hassle.
Yeah,
You know,
when it comes
and-
down to it.
It's not as if I'm not going to renew, but part of me feels like if they're already panicking, I don't want them to know that they're going to get my money for definite until very near the end.
Wasn't it last season that you did it on the final day?
Yeah. I don't like.
We actually
you know,
both
like-
went to the ticket office to switch seats on. It wasn't even the last day. We renewed last day, and then had to go and switch seats after.
But I don't. Yeah, I don't like giving United my season ticket money so early, and then being like, "Oh, phew, we've got him for another 12 months."
Yeah,
I want them to sweat over it.
Beyond the point,
That's
if they all think- if they're gonna think we're all
£728
gonna
pays
quit,
for an hour of debt.
we might
even
end
that.
up
Not even an hour
surprising.
here. So, should we spoke a lot about the atmosphere in the singing section. Should we move on to the Arsenal game?
Why not?
Oh joy, let's.
The drab 0-0 against Arsenal. As Mark already mentioned, we had...
Mark's basically done this already. Like he's just ruined this entire section.
Thanks, Mark.
Let's move on. Let's talk about something else.
Yeah.
So, what are you doing this weekend, lads?
Valentine's
Tell you what,
Day, innit?
Yeah, Valentine's. Anyone doing anything good?
yeah, taking the missus out.
Oh, yeah. Where are
Yep.
you going? Steak?
Hale Grill.
Hale.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Are you having the
nice.
steak at Hale Grill?
What? I don't know. Probably. Yeah. I take Jay to the Hale Grill sometimes.
It does.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's like taking probation out.
I
Or
was
something.
gonna
Taking
say,
day
young
release.
defenders out for the day
do
release.
they let you in
Come
the
on.
Hale Grill?
Yeah, I had to.
Skinhead.
Yeah.
They're not keen on that,
I
are
had
they?
to, no, I had to sign him in.
Yeah. As soon as he's had his jabs, I'm going to take him to Wormston.
Mark, what are you doing with the missus?
Got in Nottingham.
Oh,
Very nice. Very nice.
Yes.
There's a new game I'm playing at United games. It's called Who Wins the Lottery to Sit on the Left of Fergie.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
So
Darren Fletcher
it
last night.
was. Oh,
Sorry.
God,
Why
why
are
you
you
ruining
ruining it?
everything?
Wanker, man. You ruined my life.
That's a good game to play.
We
though,
also-
to sort of
What,
distract
Mark,
yourself
so
from what's going off
Yeah,
on
exactly.
the pitch.
Yeah, exactly. We also saw Mick Hucknall on the Fulham game. He
Nice.
was there, wasn't he?
Quality.
Holding back the
Top
tears.
red. Oh, hey. Oh,
Lads,
nicely done.
lads.
Hey.
Nice. Yeah, and Fletcher next to him.
Oh, was he?
Against the Arsenal game, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Fletcher on one side, and then his must have been his grandson, I think, on the other side. And I'm sure his grandson's called Fletcher.
Oh.
Yeah. So, a little bit of
Coinky
trivia
dinks.
for you.
He's quite lucky in
Anything.
the ballot.
No, I was
He's been at every
basically
away
grasping
game.
at straws, trying to.
It was a
Entertain
anything
yourself.
that's
boring
not-
game against
It
Arsenal.
was, and it was a shame because, on paper you think a draw at the Emirates is a decent result. I mean, we've lost over the years. We've lost there before under Fergie, so let's not start pretending that it's a disaster or whatever. But it's the fact that you look at it in the grander scale of things. It's 2 points from Stoke, Fulham, and Arsenal, and Arsenal were there for the taking.
Yeah.
They weren't on top of their game at all. They've just been battered off the Scousers. I thought Giroud looks terrible, and I thought that if we got out of them, there were signs like what Matt was talking about, the move that where RVP got his header pushed onto the bar. There was
It was a
signs
good save, though,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
it was a good save. That we
The-
could have
the
we could have won
RVP
that game.
chance, like,
Yeah,
2
the
minutes
RVP.
in.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the old cliche. It sort of came a bit early, didn't it?
If that had gone in, it would have been an entirely different
exactly. And I thought they were there, and we could have got at them. And even in the last sort of minute or so, we just looked like we'd settled for it.
Yeah.
It was just like passing it
course,
sideways.
seeing
And back.
Moyes on the
Moyes
sideline.
on the
Moyes
sideline
gone
going
mad.
berserk, and everyone just ignoring him.
It was 3-on-2.
Yeah, and it was just like, it was weird. And then there was a chance where sort of it was Rooney and RVP, and RVP sort of seemed to slow down. And he thought, if we'd have just had that little bit more sort of determination to just go for it,
Yeah.
maybe and put Andan on a lot earlier than with 20 minutes to go. But I mean, again, the substitutions didn't really impress me. Giving Januzaj 20 minutes, the Valencia for Young, I think it was, didn't really.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was any point in that. So
It was a strange one, was it?
yeah,
A matter for Januzaj first.
yeah,
wasn't it?
I mean, I could understand that because he was playing Matter on the wing anyway, which is a waste of time. So getting Januzaj on there, he is an actual winger or likes to play on the wing. It made sense. So, but it was just the fact he didn't give him a lot of time, and and it took him a little while to get into the game. He never really got going, to be fair to him.
Well,
So-
let's hear what David Moyes had to say after the game.
How pleased are you with a very creditable point at Arsenal?
I'm pleased. I wanted 3 points because I know the players are capable. We've got a good team. But, Arsenal are rightly near the top of the league just now, and they've had a great season. So it wasn't a bad draw for us. But as I said, I'd like to have taken all 3.
As the game went on, did you think we can get them on a counter, and then the chance comes, the goalkeeper pulled off a great save?
He did, but the way my luck's been going, I was expecting them probably got them score a goal from the free kick they got late on. But I thought that it was a tight game. We had a few chances there. There's some chances as well. But overall, I'm quite pleased with a lot of things we've done.
You're going to miss him from the summer onwards, Nemanja, but what a rock he was for you today at the back.
He was very good. And I actually thought when Rio Ferdinand came on, he done great. Came on at half time. It's never easy to come on into the games, but they showed all their experience in the second half, and I thought we defended very well tonight.
I was going to say, can you see a turning point? But really, the way you created chances at Fulham, you could have won the games there. You haven't had the luck, have you, really?
Well, I don't like talking about luck because I think you have to earn it. You have to work harder to try and get it. But there's certainly been some situations you would say, well, that's just going against the grain. So you've got to hope that it turns around. But we'll keep trying to work hard. We'll keep trying to win the games when we can, and hopefully it'll turn for us.
You've been honest enough to say you haven't won enough games, but on the other hand, I think you've only had Van Persie and Rooney together starting in 9-10 league games this season. That's played a major part, hasn't it, David?
It has, and the last couple of games we got them back. Robin, up until tonight, I think he scored 3 goals in 3 games since he come back. Wayne's just back in as well. So the record with the two of them has been very good. And tonight, again, we get a draw. We'd like to win, but it shows again how important those 2 players are to us.
How do you see the battle now for fourth place?
Well, we've got a lot of catching up to do. We've got to try and win games. We've got to try and keep plugging away and hanging in there. But if there's one football club who's done that well over the years, it's been this club, and let's hope we can do it again.
He sounds down in himself.
He does. He said try a lot through that interview.
Try. Same old.
So now he's taken the squad and staff off to Dubai for some warm weather training. Do we think that's a good thing? It can't be any worse than wet and windy
probably
Carrington.
the best thing that could have come out of us already being out of the FA Cup. They can rest a bit. We've seen, I know we don't like talking about them, but the Scouse Bastards have not had any kind of European competition this year, and they're definitely fresher for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the kind of thing that could possibly await us next season.
What are we playing for now? Fourth is gone.
The European
Champions League is, our only.
Is it? Yeah,
not
Champions League.
target.
In terms of the league, I just it's over, and we'll go in. Is it fifth? Is it just fifth, and you go into the Europa?
Sixth and
so, is it sixth?
6 and 7, depending on if Sunderland win the Carling Cup, which is unlikely. But if they win, then it's 5 and 6, and dependent on FA Cup final status, it's 5th and 6th. If someone is to get into the final that isn't already in Europe, they get a spot.
Right. So
So
Europa League that we don't want anyway.
Yeah.
Because going back to season tickets, well, aren't you? If you're in the cup scheme, you have to go to Europa League. I was reading.
Oh, do you?
I tell you, this
They're
is
changing
interesting.
the terms and conditions to European games.
Yeah,
as opposed to
they have
Champions League
changed
games.
it.
Oh,
So
have they
you
already changed
do
it?
have to go to.
If you look at your terms and conditions this year, right, and they did it after the
debacle of non-qualification.
Exactly. It no longer refers to the Champions League by name. It's now European competition.
Right.
So well, that is what it is, isn't it? But when you think of the order of cups, it's probably the Europa League still higher than the League Cup, isn't it? And they force you to go to that unless you opt out.
It
and
seems
it is a cup that we've never won.
True.
So every club you get to go to some different European cities. You and I, and you as well, went to Amsterdam. That was the Europa League, wasn't it? Although I'll tell you what, you get you're high up and you netted in, aren't you, as away fans? Why can't we just do that to the Scousers? Put them in tier 3, net them in, singing section in the away bit now.
Yeah.
They can still throw piss through nets, though.
I'll tell you what I was watching today.
Yeah.
They're not that brash.
Yeah,
they just piss through the net.
Yeah.
I was watching a bit of our pre-season today on
You need a
MUTV.
job. You need to get a proper job. Right?
Come on.
Nobody gets married or
Stop
there's
sitting
no
around
press
the living
pictures
room
today.
with pants. Great.
My photography
You put a
agency,
blazer on just for us.
photography agency phoned up and they said, "Can you get out and do pictures of the wind and rain?" And I was like, "No, I'm all right."
It's windy and rainy. What am I going outside for?
But going back,
It's always my favourite photos as well of invisible wind.
Yeah.
was the opening game to our pre-season when we lost 1-0 to Singer All Stars. Remember that? That's where Moyes went wrong. Right from then, we had a strong team playing for us as well.
Was that when Anderson played 90 minutes?
Yeah, he played quite a lot.
Yeah.
Zaha playing that one.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
We had quite a lot of chances. Giggs had a chance. That's it.
Good memory.
He's only spent the day watching it. He's not got a good memory.
Singer All Stars. Right, so how are we going to end this podcast, chaps?
Is there anything we can say from the Arsenal game?
The
Positive. Come on, we've all been negative and it's all
Arsenal
doom and
fans
gloom.
booing. You're second in the table.
Okay, if you want to put a positive spin on it, here you go. We've got 4 points off Arsenal this year, and they're second in the league.
Well, what I put as a positive is David Moyes' reaction to the backwards passing in the 3rd minute of injury time yesterday. He was really pissed off.
No, he did that for the cameras.
So you know what I said about you damned if you do, you don't.
But I genuinely think that's a good thing. It shows that he wants us to be to go in for it, and I think the players just weren't going for it. And I know Sam says that's David Moyes' fault, but I think there's more to it than just that. I think there's players have give up, and I don't think it's David Moyes' fault.
I'd say one positive. David De Gea.
Oh,
I know he's going to make a great number 1 for Barcelona.
He is.
I'm going to cry when we lose him, inevitably.
Just one thing I remember from last week is Sam. I was going to say got on his high horse. Then that's probably not the right thing. Sam suggested that Wilfried Zaha was setting the world on fire at Cardiff.
I didn't say he was setting the world on fire. I stated some facts. He played one game and got 2 assists.
Well, now here's some more facts. He's played 2 more and he was crap.
Yeah, he wasn't good, was he? He was taken off, and both Fabio was shocking.
Yeah. So
I'll counter that though with look at our wingers. Like, would he have done any better with better service from better players and better players in the centre? How do you know? Like,
Apparently,
who knows?
the last time Moyes spoke to him before he went to Cardiff and all the paperwork had gone through.
Was he walking into his daughter's bedroom?
that's a phone call from an agent. If there was one.
Might have to cut that.
Was the last time he spoke to him after that Singer All-Stars game?
No, it was after he got put in the reserves because he turned up to the meeting about Cardiff 20 minutes late. And that was the last time Moyes spoke to him and just said all the paperwork had gone through by then. He was put in the reserves for 20 minutes and that was the last.
Does that not pretty much say everything that needs to be said about Wilfried Zaha, though?
What, that he turned up 20 minutes late?
He turns up late for his own transfer meeting to get himself some games.
Well, he's been causing a bit of a stir on here with Instagram.
Yeah.
Not down with the kids.
You're not?
Saying it's nice to have someone that believes in me, other than that miserable bastard.
That big ginger Scottish
that's big ginger knobhead. And then he automatically, he came out and said, "Oh no, I wasn't having a dig at Moyes. Obviously, I was just praising Ole."
Yeah.
Which,
yeah.
But
all right, son.
he is a bit. I don't want to insult the lad, but he doesn't seem the brightest spark sometimes. He didn't turn up for his medical in a Imogen Thomas t-shirt, didn't he? That everyone sort of picks up on. So I don't know if he's a bit stupid or he's actually trying to cause trouble.
He's ADD, isn't he?
Yeah, probably.
Lads,
Probably.
Possibly.
what are we going to do for next week's podcast? We got no game.
Going to preview Palace.
Is that it? Just do a 10-minute podcast.
Yeah,
we'll just
preview Palace.
sit around and talk about.
We could do a quiz again. No,
David Moyes.
You win.
Give me
quizzes,
some
don't you?
competition next time.
Hey, I wasn't here last
Someone
time.
will sulk again if he's on it and he doesn't win. He wasn't happy last time,
Tom,
was
I
it?
can't make it next week. The week after, we'll be doing the podcast live from Athens, which will be good.
Yes,
well,
we
not
will.
live, but
Are we all there?
yeah,
Not-
yeah.
you
We're
are
all
not.
recording.
You're not there when we'll be doing the podcast.
Oh,
You're there for the game, but
Yeah.
We'll see him before the game. We'll get an interview with him.
no, I don't.
We'll get a
want-
soundbite.
I don't.
I can,
I want to sit in the luxury of our hotel by the pool that you've promised me.
They've got a pool on the roof, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Good. For the 4 days that we're there, and we can record a podcast leisurely on the Thursday around the pool with some beers.
Sounds good.
Discuss
looking
me,
forward to
all
it.
of you. Aye.
So that has been episode 81, episode 25 of the podcast. We'll be back next week.
Take care.
Bye.